Okay, so this is actually my third time trying to record this video because as you can see the space looks a little different and the elephant is done. He's done. And he is big. And since he's so big, he's not going to my office. He's just staying at the house until we take him to the Camplex for the art gala, and then he finds his new home. And the reason why this is my third time is because I have a 2-year-old puppy. She's Whippet and Lab, and she is very energetic. Even though we did just go for a walk and we played a little bit of fetch and stuff already this morning, they're still very energetic, and she doesn't like it when my attention's not on her. So hopefully this will work. I gave her a moose antler and she loves those, and so if you hear any chewing and stuff, I'm sorry, but that's how I could get her to be engaged in that instead of like she's knocked over the computer. Like, I mean, she was chewing on my fingers trying to get to my attention. So that's just where we're at right now. Yeah. So sorry that you might hear her. You probably hear her chewing on her antler, and she's a Velcro dog, so she would not go into like another space. She has to be next to me. That's just the way we are. So we are just gonna go with it. It's life. Life is messy. Just gonna embrace it. So this is the elephant. I created this as a representation for elephant in the room. And so some of you may have heard this or even said this yourself. I know it's a saying that's been around for a while, and it has just, I don't know how it has gotten into the therapy room world. But it has, and it makes sense as to why it is, because the elephant in the room, the way I see it, is it's not always something that's like negative and bad, but a lot of times it could be something an obstacle that we need or want to overcome. We may not be ready to notice it, to visit those uncomfortable feelings that go with it, and then sometimes it gets bigger and bigger and it feels like it has a hold of us. And even though it's there because it's a part of us, and it's there to help us in its own way in our healing, it's still hard. Sometimes we have those big heavy things, which an elephant is a big and heavy thing, especially like this one. We haven't weighed him yet. I think we're going to do that. I have my husband help me do that this weekend. I'm guessing he's between 30 and 35 pounds. That's my guess. But for a crochet animal, he's a big and heavy thing. And those big and heavy things can weigh on us, and they can weigh in our heart, and they can weigh in our body, and they can weigh in our mind storyteller. And a lot of times, once we do notice that elephant in the room and, dare I say, have a conversation with it and heal with it, then it gets smaller and it doesn't feel as heavy. And then looking back, sometimes it feels like, oh, wow, I'm so glad that I, talked to that elephant in the room, and I just sat with it and noticed those uncomfortable feelings, because sometimes that's all those things need, is just to be acknowledged. I always say, like, feelings are like little children. Like, let's say like a 2-year-old or a 2-year-old puppy. They just want to be seen and heard. And when they're not, if I think of like the 2-year-old puppy that's right next to me, she'll make herself seen and heard by sitting in my lap, or, like pawing at you or nudging you with her head. And that's the same with our feelings, is they make themselves known by feeling in our body, by in our chest, or our stomach flip-flopping, or even just thoughts running wild. and it's always scary to notice those uncomfortable feelings. But if we just notice them and sit with them, I heard a thing on my meditation app that I use on one of the talks, is that feelings only last like anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds if we just let them do what they need to do. And, and that's easier said than done, obviously. I mean, I know I'm a therapist, but I struggle with that too, because I'm human as well. So with Mr. Elephant, I want to talk about imposter syndrome, because I feel like imposter syndrome connects with that elephant in the room as well, because there might be a lot of us that struggle with that. I know I'm one that struggles with it, and it's something I've tried to avoid, instead of asking it, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like I'm not good enough? Why am I feeling like everything I do is looking back at a session or something, oh my gosh, why am I, how did they give me a degree? How did they give me a license? What in the world? And I feel like a lot of that goes with our self-worth, or at least for me. I'm speaking in broad terms, but a lot of what I'm speaking from is from my own personal experience, and from what I've seen professionally as well. But I feel like a lot of it comes with that negative cognition or negative self-talk of I'm not good enough. And there could be things that have happened in our past where maybe we were told we weren't good enough. Maybe we created an amazing art piece, or we did something we were really proud of, and then someone said, well, that sucks. And then it starts for you to start questioning, oh man, am I really good at these things? Am I really, really good enough? And then it sometimes turns into a spiral. And I think what's important with imposter syndrome is, it's out there, and I hear people talk about it, but then it's but how do we overcome it? Or how do we tell ourselves that we are good enough? Because our brains are this funny thing, and they are I don't know why, I do not know why this is, but they are way more easy to go negative than to go positive. And I will tell you, I have been on I've been on a healing journey my whole life, but I've been on a very consistent healing meditation journey probably for 12-ish years. Some days are better than others. But that's just how it is it's a journey, and it is hard with those negative self-thoughts. And a lot of times I feel like when we get into that spiral, the thing that I like to do for myself and invite others to do is go back to the lungs. There is this poem by John Rodell, I think is how you pronounce that. And I think it's called Heart and Mind and Lungs. It's something like that. If you've been in session with me, you've probably have heard it. Or if you've done my, trauma-informed yoga groups, you've probably have heard it. I first heard it from one of Ashley Collins' meditation retreats that she had, and the gal that was doing the meditations read it, and it was just so powerful, and it stuck with me. And pretty much in synopsis, what it is the heart is worried about what happened in the past, and the mind is worried about what's going to happen in the future. And so a lot of times with that imposter syndrome, it's what happened in the past of, oh my gosh, well, I can't, oh my gosh, did I even help that person in that session that I just had? Did I even, how dare I, let my dog eat foxtail grass and get it stuck in her tonsils. True story. That happened last week. And am I even a good dog mom? Am I even a good therapist? Am I a good wife? All these things, and then it just starts to spiral, and then it goes with our mind storyteller of all the things that could happen in the future. And what calms that is our lungs. Because to be honest, yes, I'm doing the best I can. You guys are doing the best you can. And as long as we're doing the best we can, we are good. And that imposter part of ourselves with going to the lungs quiets down. And I'm sure if we did more digging into ourselves, that imposter came at probably a young age, like in childhood or teenage years, and is a protector and is a part of ourselves that is trying to protect. Even though it might not feel like it, it is trying to protect. And then we just have to let that imposter's part of us know, like, hey, I'm a 37-year-old woman. I'm a professional. I, have an amazing dog, an amazing husband. I am a good, crocheter. I get compliments all the time on my stuff that I create. I get compliments in my professional. And I just need to take those in and not ignore them. Because I think that's another part of the imposter syndrome, is that when we when people give us compliments, we're like, oh man, we have them fooled. Even though who we have fooled is ourselves, because we're not believing in our highest self and who we really are. And it takes time. And some days are better than others. And I always tell myself and tell others that, I'm still trying 100%, even though if my 100% today probably doesn't look like it did yesterday, and probably won't look like it won't look the same tomorrow. But I'm just trying, and I'm just human. And for me, what I try is, as long as I am doing my best to be genuine to myself, then, I will have a conversation with that imposter part of me when she comes up, and just let her know that she's safe. So I just wanted to bring that up, because there has been quite a bit of imposter syndrome for me coming up with this art gala. I came up with this idea, never even thought that it was going to go as big as it is. I haven't counted how many pieces we have. I put them on the website, or on the silent auction site. I didn't count, but we have quite a few already, and I know that that's not all of them, because I know I still have at least one piece, possibly three. I just got back into something that's called tapestry crochet. And what that is you crochet, and then you crochet a design in it. And I found that these two designs that I think would just be great, for the benefit for suicide prevention and awareness coalition's fundraiser. One says even baddies get saddies, and it has an eye and then teardrops. And then the other one says surviving, was it surviving in spite or something like that? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was super, I just liked it. I was like, oh my gosh, those won't take me very long. I'm going to make those. And I think that somebody will really like those, and they'll find a home. And then I have the healing shrug, and it is on that side of the room, so I'm not going to grab it, but it is close to being done. But in all this, I'm trailing off like I always do, but in all this, I'm going to go back and circle back to imposter syndrome. So I'm to myself, I've had these talks, and I've had these talks to my husband too, of how, am I doing this? How am I able to even do this? Am I even capable of making a giant elephant? And oh my gosh, what if no one buys them and we're stuck with this giant elephant? And it's just that my brain starts going, the mind starts going, and I have to go back to my lungs. And what I do is, when I notice that, or my husband will point it out, because he's very good at that and it's very helpful, is I'll just take a few deep breaths. And so I'm going to actually do that to end the video. I know it's very jabbery, but that's just me. That's how my brain works. That's just how I work. And we'll just do some deep breaths together. So what we're going to do is we're going to do sighing breath. So we'll breathe in through our nose and then breathe out and just sigh. And we'll do this 3 times. So whenever you're ready, take a nice cleansing inhale. And sigh it all out. And we'll do that 2 more times. One more. All right. And what I'm thinking is that next time I'm actually going to probably read that poem and share that with you guys, because I think that would be I just love it, and I would love to share it with you. But before I say goodbye, I'm going to have Penny get on, if she will. Well, she probably won't, because she thinks I'm gonna take her antler away, because she doesn't get the moose ones for very long, because she just gets obsessed with them. So she probably thinks I'm gonna take it away. So she's like, no, I don't want to be on camera. But here is Penny. If you heard the noises, and she's not gonna show her face, is she? Here, hey, okay, hi, say hi. Oh, there she is. So this is Penny. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about her. And yeah, so she is our lovely Whippet puppy, and that's who you heard chewing. So I'm just going to turn this back. And yes, thank you. And thank you for dealing with the craziness of me having to film at home. It's way different filming in the office when it's just me. And yeah, so I hope you all have a wonderful day. And something that I like to remind people is, being human is messy, and I have to remind myself this too, and we just have to embrace it. So have a wonderful day, and I know this is a little longer one, but hope you enjoy, and yeah, see you next time.